Shana Tova, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Rosh Hashanah and looking forward to a meaningful and easy fast of Yom Kippur. As you can see, I'm in building mode here, getting ready for Sukkot. I hope everyone enjoys the holiday of Sukkot. We're going to be sending out lots of information in the near future about all the different activities of Sukkot. I wanted to focus, though, for a moment on the building of an actual Sukkah. I'm not going to go into all the details of building a Sukkah, just trying to answer the one question of how to make your Sukkah safe during this time of the pandemic. I want to thank Whitney Blum for making these wonderful models that you will see and that I will detail for you. So let me just speak about a couple of general ideas, and then I'll speak specifically about each of the models you see in front of you. So number one, the regular Sukkah that most of us have each year, which is this Sukkah, a 3.5 walled Sukkah, meaning 3 whole walls, and then part of the 4th wall with a doorway. My understanding is that that should be considered indoor space. Even though it is located outside, it should be considered indoor space in terms of COVID and air flow. So that's number one. Number two, when you're inside any sukkah, you need to make sure that you can maintain at least 6 feet of separation between you and anyone from a different family, a different pod, anyone who is separate from you and your immediate family. If you cannot do that in your sukkah, if you can't do that safely, then you should not be eating in your sukkah at all. You should maybe be doing kiddush in your sukkah, and then you should go inside or outside, out of your sukkah, wherever it is safe in terms of COVID. Those are a couple of general ideas. Now for some specifics about building a sukkah. Like I said, this is the one that most of us are used to. 3 full walls and then half of another wall with a doorway. Okay? What we would like to do in terms of Sukkot and the pandemic is increase the airflow, which has to do with the walls. Usually when it comes to Sukkot, we spend most of our time talking about the roof, which is the schach, but now with airflow, it's really all about the walls. Okay? So in terms of what is actually needed for a kosher sukkah, even though most of us have the 3.5 walls, you actually only need 2.5. Like this sukkah, 1 full wall, a 2nd full wall, and this is the 3rd half wall. That is all that is needed. And the 3rd wall needs to be at least 12 inches wide. Obviously, this is not a kosher 3rd wall, but you need this 3rd wall to be at least 12 inches wide. If you have that, you can have all of this open wall space, and that's totally kosher. So that's this model. Then we come to another idea, which is to have your walls, however many you want, made of lattice work, not solid material. We have canvas on our sukkah, but lattice work like this that obviously has a lot of airflow is totally kosher. You can go with this 3 walls, the 3.5 like this, 2.5, whatever it is. As long as you have lattice, that is very, very safe in terms of COVID. And here's another example, then I'll talk about the one rule that we need to think about. Here's another example of another safe wall in terms of COVID, where you have the walls made of ropes or cord, anything like that. That is totally fine. As you can see, lots of airflow. The one rule you need to make sure to maintain is to make sure that the different pieces here, either of rope or cord or of this lattice work, are separated by less than 9 inches. If they're separated by less than 9 inches, then those 2 pieces that are separate behave as if they are connected according to Jewish law. Having them separated a little bit is obviously good for airflow, but as long as they're closer than 9 inches, then they are seen as being together. That is the principle of levud. That's what that means, that they are seen as together even though they're actually separate. I want to just bring up one other idea which I didn't tell Whitney in time, so she didn't make a model of, which is that you can have your walls made of whatever substance go up only part of the way. It has to be at least 2.5 feet, about 30 inches. Even if your schach is 7 or 8 feet up here, where the roof is, as long as your wall is at least 30 inches up, the rest of it can have great airflow for your sukkah, and the wall is assumed to continue, or it is theoretically continuing up to the roof, but it doesn't actually have to be there physically. As long as you have at least 30 inches, that's what matters. All of this is a lot of details, I know, but remember the goals, which are have a kosher sukkah, and number 2, or really the number 1 goal, which is to be safe and to be healthy. That is number 1. If you cannot have a kosher sukkah and be healthy, then you should, of course, to choose being healthy. And there will be other Sukkot that we can celebrate, other holidays of Sukkot, other times when we can be in the Sukkah next year and the year after and many years to come. Let me just end by saying this. If you have any questions about any of this or anything else, please feel free to contact me at rabbi@cbstnec.org. Take care, Shana Tova everyone, and an early Chag Sameach for the holiday of Sukkot.